Hey there everyone, happy Monday. I don't normally post on Mondays, but we have some stuff coming up, and so I need to to make sure this video gets out on time. First and foremost, in the last summoning session I had, I did happen to get lucky enough to pull all the generals of Muspell, so I decided to do a $15 giveaway for that. So Gleam link in the description if you want to check that out. Benefit from my luck, I'm passing it on. There it is. Check it in the description if you want. Second, I put a video out on Sunday, yesterday, right? Sure, let's say that. That kind of walked us through what the colors we would have for the remaining legendary heroes of 2018, covering September, October, November, and December. And if you didn't catch that, it's more or less been confirmed in most cases, I think, except November. Or maybe it was October. I think it was October, actually. So September, this month, we're getting a blue legendary hero. That's just in a couple days. October, it's likely going to be red or colorless, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be red. And in November, we're going to have a colorless hero. And then in December, to end it out, we're going to have a green legendary hero. So that's kind of what we're working with right now. And on the screen, I've got my picks for the 4 possible legendary heroes that we might get this time around in September. They are blue based, and I'm kind of going to walk you through my process as to why I'm thinking we might get one of these guys. I don't think we're going to get a male hero. I'm just going to full disclosure, I don't think we have a male legendary hero this time around. There used to be this pattern of 2s and 2s, so we get 2 male heroes, we get 2 female heroes, and so on. But Marth kind of ended that. He was the newest hero we had before that, and then we had Lucina before that. When we got Lucina, everybody was like, oh, well, we're going to get a new legendary hero. We know it's going to be red. We know it's got to be female because they come in pairs like that. And they didn't do that. So I don't think there's necessarily a gender pattern that we're seeing. And if there was, IS just kind of got rid of it last time around. So for what that's worth, it could be anybody. I think the 2 candidates that I'm thinking of are the likeliness is more female. Sad to say as it is. But you can see there we've got 2 water, 1 wind, was that 2 earth and 1 fire hero remaining on this little chart here. That's not to say they won't increase the size of the chart at some point. This is, of course, 4x4, 16 months, so it's not conclusive to a year, right? And I think that's where people are maybe getting hung up. The color of the legendary hero doesn't even matter either. You can see, we're, what is it, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So we're 10 heroes in, and we only have 1 colorless, for example. That doesn't mean that the rest are all going to be colorless. That's not really how that works either. There's not really a color pattern. There's no longer a gender pattern. I don't even think there's an element pattern. I don't think we have that either. Except maybe the element chosen for that legendary hero when the banner debuts is also active for that element season. I haven't looked at that yet, but I kind of want to, just to see if that's maybe something that's trended in the past. But either way, I don't know what element we're going to be seeing. If I had to take just a quick guess, I'd say it's probably water. I'd probably say it's water or earth. And that's honestly just because, they each have 2, so the odds are kind of in their favor, I think, in terms of breaking it up. But probably water. We haven't had a water in a while. Earth has also not seen a whole lot of play in quite some time. Of course, Ike was the first one. And then, Legendary Robin was close to halfway through the time when they introduced this. This is probably 5 months ago that she showed up. So what we've got right now, what we're working with right now, that we know that we're working with right now, we have a blue legendary hero. We know this September we are getting back who do we have back? We have Ike, Hector, and Robin. So those the bottom three, the bottom left corner there in the chart, we're getting all of them back. So that's kind of cool. But we know it's going to be a blue hero that we're getting. It is a new hero, unless they decide to repeat, which I don't think that's going to be the case. Otherwise, they probably would have said, like, hey, this hero's returning here. And they obviously didn't do that. So I think there's a good chance, and I've done a video like this before back when I predicted Lucina as being the next legendary hero, back when she debuted a couple months back. Eliwood and Micaiah were both on that list. And I don't think I had Corring on there. I don't think I did. But if I did, I've forgotten. So I've replayed 2, and I've introduced, I think, 2 new ones. So the Rex Hosta with Eliwood. It makes a lot of sense, right? That's his promoted. He learns lances. Rex Hosta, obviously, very powerful weapon in Blazing Blade. So I feel as though we're going to be seeing Eliwood at some point. Not just because he'd make a great promoted lance unit. He would have a great ult for that unit. They've also got Lyn and Hector already in the legendary hero pool. And so I feel like if you're going to have a unit that shows up as part of a grouping, it's weird not to have Eliwood involved. You know what I mean? Like, Eliwood, obviously, Lyn and Hector, very popular. I feel like Eliwood, as sad as it is for me to say this, because he's my favorite of the 3, of that trio, he is probably the least popular overall. And so I feel like maybe they're just waiting to get him in there. I feel like we're definitely going to see a legendary Eliwood at some point, just because we have the other 2, right? It would be weird if we didn't get him at some point and he was just never seen as a legendary hero. That said, I don't know how likely he is to pop up. There was a lot of space between Lyn and Hector when they eventually debuted. They are both green units. So for what that's worth, it might be strange having a blue Eliwood. But we already have a Lance Eliwood unit from Love Abounds that was a free unit. So, I mean, having him as a Lance, not really unheard of. Again, Rex Hosta makes a lot of sense for him to be able to wield. So yeah, I think Eliwood makes a lot of sense. I think he's very likely. Anytime we have a blue legendary hero possibility pop up, I think I'll probably be looking at him more so than the red unit options, just because the ult makes a lot of sense. Lyn got her Archer ult. Hector only ever uses our mods, except for that one time when he was a brave hero. But I think the ult makes a lot of sense. We've also got Bruno, or Zacharias. I feel like he might be a little more likely than Eliwood, honestly. And the only reason why I don't have him higher on my list, he's 3 out of the 4 for likeliness. The only reason is we haven't really seen much with him. But for that same reason, that could be the perfect way to like reintroduce him. We did just have book 2 end. He did just magically pop back up right at the very end of the story. He is a blue tome unit, and he is a hero's original character. And we just had the Muspell banner. Obviously, we just got Brave Veronica. So, I mean, for what it's worth, it wouldn't be the craziest thing to see Bruno or Zacharias kind of come in and become a possible hero. In fact, the weapon that he wields, which I'm not even going to try and pronounce it, his tome that he wields actually is a legendary weapon. So, I mean, for what it's worth, he's a very enigmatic character. He goes by aliases. He's helped Asker. I feel like he would be a realistic unit to see, since we've just had Muspell, we've just added Brave Veronica. And he just kind of magically showed back up again after being absent for so long. Coupled with the fact that Book 2 is now ending and Book 3 is probably going to pop up on radar November, maybe. Late October, early November, I would guess. I feel like he's a pretty reasonable candidate. He could also be a pretty solid Earth unit. So I feel like that would kind of coincide a little bit, if nothing else. Plus, we don't have that many mounted, cavalry tome units. Granted, there's, what's his name? I can't even think of his name. Reinhardt, that's who it is. We have Reinhardt, obviously. When you think cavalry blue tome unit, Reinhardt definitely comes to mind. But I don't know. I think the time is kind of primed for Zacharias / Bruno to show up. We've had Veronica kind of like wanting to know where he is. He did just show up. It's likely. It's not maybe I think the most likely of the four that I've chosen, but I feel like he's definitely got an edge above Eliwood at this particular moment. I feel like the timing with the story and everything that's happened, I feel like it would be a not so crazy thing to see him pop up right now. Additionally, the two below me here, we've got Corring and Micaiah. I feel like they are pretty likely candidates as well. Corring, similar to the whole Hector Lynn Eliwood triangle thing, I feel very strongly that there's this kind of triangle with Xander, Ryoma, and Corring. Corring, obviously, a blue unit. Dragonstone, more than likely. Would be surprised otherwise. But we only have one dragon-type legendary hero, that being Robin. And I don't know. I just don't know how you have Ryoma without Corrin and Xander eventually. Xander, I don't know what he would become at that point. I think he would still just be a sword unit. So, not saying that's not down the road. In fact, we might get him next month. Who can really say? But I genuinely feel as though we're going to be getting a Corrin. This month makes a lot of sense, I think. We've just had a new Fates banner. Ultimately, it's not crazy. Corrin's one of the most popular characters, obviously. It makes a lot of sense. And I covered Corrin. I thought Corrin would also be involved the last time I did a blue review. And it ended up being Lucina. Just kind of thought it would be Lucina. So, Corrin definitely still in the running. Again, too popular. One of her triangle counterparts is already in the legendary pool, that being Ryoma. It would be weird not to have Corrin and only have Ryoma or Xander in his legendary heroes. Seems weird. So for what that's worth, I think we might be seeing a Corrin this month. Additionally, we might be seeing a Micaiah, another blue tome unit. We just had the Tempest Trials, not the most recent one, but the one before that, which was Chaos Named, I think is what the name of it was. And we kind of got a stronger look at Yoon, and we got a very strange look at what Loki is trying to accomplish. I think a Yoon's voice, or Voice of Yoon type of alt for Micaiah would make a lot of sense. If we can have a legendary Robin who's kind of there to bring chaos and destroy, I think we could also have some kind of Micaiah in a similar fashion. And I mean, blue tome, when you think of like a blue tome legendary hero, there's not that many legendary blue tome units that really come to mind. Micaiah, I think, is one of the more iconic blue tome users. So with that said, we have Vanguard Ike, we have the Radiant Dawn Ike as the first legendary hero, I think. I actually don't know. That was Fjorm. Just kidding. But legendary Ike was around. Has been around. I feel like he might have a counterpart. Ike has always kind of been like standalone in a sense, but for what that's worth, it wouldn't be the craziest thing for us to see in Micaiah. And again, she was one of the ones that I kind of thought we'd see before So that it makes sense. It makes sense to see a Micaiah at some point. I think now might be a decent time. We're also going to be seeing a Tellius kind of situation happen with the latest Cypher set that releases, and that's actually happening this week. So Cypher tends to kind of inform Heroes sometimes. Cypher's tied in with like every Fire Emblem game. And I mean, they even have Heroes now in there. Heroes was very prevalent in the last set 13 that just debuted. So I think for the most part, the timing is kind of interesting. We've had Micaiah in a recent banner, the Hoshido Festival. We had that whole Tempest Trial thing that was just kind of like out there. And then not really introduced before this, but it was actually like, oh, it wasn't a matter of, oh, well, this alternate version of you is now like creating chaos or whatever, like what happened with Sigurd basically. But you know, Micaiah's was very different, and Loki had a very obvious intent with that, and it could be how we're phasing into book 3 maybe. Again, I think the start of book 3 is a little bit down the road. You know, probably, like I said, probably early November, late October, somewhere around there. But I feel like that might have some kind of impact. That Tempest Trial story was strange. Chaos Named was strange. Loki was not really anywhere to be seen post book 2. And we got the information that she didn't really work for Muspell, and she had kind of her alternative options, and the strongest plot that we've had so far was that weird Tempest Trials, which involved, you know, Yoon and Micaiah. So I think we might be seeing a legendary alt of her. Again, the timing is kind of there, similar to Bruno / Zacharias. I think all of these make a lot of sense. I think we'll eventually see them all regardless. So for what that's worth, those are the 4 units who I think are most likely to be seen for September's Legendary Hero. Again, we have a $15 gift card giveaway going on in the description. Check out the Gleam link in the description to do that, I guess. And we don't have to wait very long. We only got a couple days before the trailer reveal for the next Legendary Hero. So exciting stuff. It will be happening. In the comments, let me know what you guys think we'll be seeing for our September Legendary Hero. Again, it will be blue. We don't know necessarily what elemental they will have, and we don't really know if it's a male or female character. So, exciting. Very exciting. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you next time.